Hi there, it's Sarah from Ruffles and Rainboots, and today we're making a DIY unicorn gnome using our best-selling No-Sew Gnome pattern. Isn't he adorable from his tippy top of his little horn all the way down to his cupcake hands and these adorable little toes? Look at these. Boop. They're made out of polymer clay just like his boop nose and hands. If you'd like to make this unicorn gnome, stick around. As always, please like this video so I know you're here crafting with me. Now, everything can be found at the link below, but we're going to use some nail polish, faux flowers. I am going to replace that headband. We're going to use twine, fleece, and a chunky yarn. So the first thing we're going to do is paint the faux flowers because I found a beautiful coloring of yarn, but nothing out there to match, and I didn't want to use paper. So we want to make sure these are like little wooden flowers, and so we want to make sure when we're painting them, and yes, I'm using nail polish, that we don't glop the paint on, because lesson learned, you will not have it looking like a flower if there's too much paint on there. So all I'm doing here is making 4 colors. I used a teal, a purple, a yellow, and sort of a pink mauve color, and it looks really good with the chunky yarn I chose. So once you have those painted, just stick them in a piece of styrofoam and set them over to dry. Next up, I'm going to show you how to detach all this, but honestly I ended up using this for a different project and the right headband for this one. So all we're doing is we're going to cut it straight off the headband. We're going to remove some of the fluff of the horn so that it sits flat. And I removed the string on this one. But again, you're going to see a very different piece later. All right, per the pattern, we're going to create a U shape. I wanted mine a little bit bigger so you can see there's the pattern you can download. And we're going to cut chunks of yarn. So we're going to make them however long you would like. You're going to make this beard however thick you would like. And you can even use something like faux fur and color it like I've shown in other videos. So what we're going to do here is just all the way up the sides first. We're just cutting a length of yarn and then adding it with hot glue. And you're going to press it down sort of to make sure those fibers, so you kind of make sure those fibers attach to the glue. And so you're just going to now do it all the way through the center, all the way up. And at the very top, excuse me, at the very top, you're just going to secure a whole lot of glue there. Now, could you do this with a sewing machine? You bet you could. Am I too lazy? Most of the time. So I use the hot glue throughout this whole thing, and this guy is secure. Okay, don't be worried. But once you have the very top layer, I'm going to pick it up and you can see I'm going to just add a whole lot of hot glue, let it dry, and just make sure it's secure. All right, now we're going to brush the beard. So with yarn, you're always going to have a lot of transfers. So number 1, the color could transfer, but also number 2, see all that extra fluff coming on or off of the beard? So what we're going to do is use the wide edge of a comb. I wouldn't use the slicker brush on this one because it's going to pull so much fabric or fiber out of your coils. So we just want to use a wide tooth comb. And then we're going to set that aside and we're going to jazz it up later. But we're going to use this pattern here. You can see I'm using a little bit larger of a seam allowance because I wanted a little bit wider base for my guy. This is his body, and we're just going to use this pattern for our body here, and you're going to let that sit for a second. I'm going to come back to it in just a sec. So now we're going to cut the hat, and the reason you're letting that sit, by the way, is because you want the glue to seal. If you're using Gorilla Glue or fabric glue is perfect, but here we're going to do the bottom before we turn it inside out. So by the way, this isn't instant. I come back to this project and here you go. Now I'm turning it inside out because the glue is dry. Okay, so now we're going to attach our, create our hat, and you can see my really poor cutting skills there. So I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and the fuzzy, this is a fuzzy fleece, like it's furry, it's so cozy. But what we're going to do is we're going to put those right sides together and secure it all the way down with some hot glue. And then we're going to flip it inside out, and you're going to use a pencil or a knitting needle to poke out the tip. And I didn't get it all the way, but I'm going to come back to it. Next up, we're going to fill the body with polyfill. You can use anything you'd like, but I prefer the beads. And then you're going to add, the poly beads first, a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup, then the polyfill, and then we're going to test fit our hat. Now we're going to start assembling. And I just made, because I wanted a gold horn and I wanted to bring the gold in another place, so I tied the length of his beard by the gold embroidery thread. And now we're just going to affix this right where the pattern says. And then I just add a lot of glue. to be honest. And again, you can sew this on. You can hand sew this. It's up to you. I'm lazy. So once this is on and secure, we're going to start placing everything. So you can see here that my horn is too big because this is for a different project. So I'm going to test fit the nose to make sure it's in the right place. And oh, Sarah just realized it's too big. So I'm going to prepare everything by filling the hat with a little polyfill and coming back to my horn. So you can scrunch it down or stuff it really, really full, your preference. And then we're going to replace the horn. So here you can see another example of me cutting everything off because yes, I have multiple headbands around here, guys. Okay, so I don't like the look of those types of ears. So if you do, glue them on, be happy, move on. But for me, I wanted to curl the two ears in. So you just take 2 dots of hot glue to do it. Do it in a session, or do it in sections and you should be fine. Once those are secure, then we can move on. We're going to add a mustache and the nose before we start attaching everything, just giving a little time for the glue to dry. I like tucking that nose up under the hat. You do you, but don't glue the rest of the hat down, especially if you are going to add arms. So we're just going to start adding our accoutrement for our unicorn. So we're going to, using the body, this pattern allows for this little shelf to be right here where the horn and the ears attach, which is nice. So if you'd like to use that, if not, just make sure you stick it in really secure and secure it on the bottom and the back. Next up, we're just going to start adding the flowers, and I'm doing this to hide the join marks of where the ears and horn join the hat. So I'm putting the flowers in between the ears and horn as well as in front of them. So we're hiding that piece there. You can use tulle, you can use yarn, you can use anything you want. I just used teeny tiny little flowers that I had left over from another gnome project. Go figure. All right, so once you get those on, now we're going to attach feet if you want to use them. I have a video where I've already showed you how to create feet from polymer clay. You can choose to do that or not. Next up, we're making the arms. I do have this pattern memorized, but this is just basically 2 rectangles. We're going to secure one side. There you go, fold it over. It's easier if you pick it up, in my opinion. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to cut one end to where it looks really nice and finished. There you go. And then set it aside, add a little polyfill, and you can add wire. I just chose not to for this because we're securing something in his arms. We're gonna repeat for the other side, folding it over, securing it with glue, and then chopping off the end to make it pretty, stuffing, and there you go. And now we're going to add hands. I used, to match my feet and my nose, I used polymer clay hands, just rolled beads, but you can use the wooden beads, which I use a lot, or anything else you can find. Pom-poms, whatever floats your boat. And then we're just going to attach it. Now, the hands you are going to want to attach both to the body and under the hat. So you're going to attach the hat to the hands as well, or to the arms, I mean, as well. And I pulled my mustache out of the way. Sorry, I get distracted a lot styling instead of finishing projects. Anyway, so now we're going to attach the other arm, so you can see here, and now you will also glue down the back of the hat. Okay, so now we're just going to add the cupcake, and I like to do it by adding a glob of glue, holding it away from the beard so the glue doesn't get onto that beautiful beard, and you're done. Look, isn't he cute? And he's so fluffy and fuzzy and welcoming. You want to snuggle him, and of course you have to boop the toes and boop the nose. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Will you make him? Or will you make a girl? Would be super cute with this. Let me know in the comments below. Please like this video and subscribe to Ruffles and Rain Boots for more crafty fun.